program at ESO, and for Mexican American Community Services and other venues that she worked with. There's so much to say about so many of the people here, and I'm looking for Josie stories, but when you read them, you let me know you found them, okay? One of the Chicanos, the name I just gave you, who was really well recognized, was Jack Brito, okay? Jack Brito played a fighting role in anti-police brutality, and a leader in the anti-police protest against Denny Treviño and its killing. He had a powerful voice in the community and displayed a deep understanding of the inner workings of the system. He credited his connection, his politics, and his work in corrections for the release of his son. So again, why am I telling that story? Well, I'm telling that story because there had been no problems. Up to the time they were active, they were working with the students, they had worked with the Roosevelt students to organize them to be, by the way, the first middle school in the nation to protest the exclusion of children, Mexican American children in some certain areas. And more reasons, but that was the first one ever. You see the walkout in LA, that doesn't even compare, okay? So, and there were more people involved, but the people that really were core in the community venue was Jack Brito, Sofia Mendoza, and Jose Carrasco, with others, okay? The ones that planned, the ones that worked, the ones that were central were them. Okay, so I'm summarizing so I don't have to be reading you all this stuff. Any questions so far? Yes.
Josie, I just was going to request, being at City, all these people have to do with why this campus is this beautiful place now. But I was going to ask you, there's two people there, Dr. George Castro in your book, and Victor Garza. Mm-hmm. They're both very ill.
I know.
So if you can make a comment about anything you want about them. Mm-hmm. And at some point, I wanted to ask you, what did this campus look like when you came here at that time?
I got lost, that tells you. I can tell you where the Mexican American Studies was, and it was across from the Arts Building, I think, at that time. And they had two little benches joined into an L, and that was the office where Rudy Cordova, who was the MAS coordinator, director, whatever they call us at different places. And Arteaga and Chavez, Al Arteaga and Professor Chavez were right next to each other. And so I remember that space because that's where I met my love. The man I've been married to nearly 50 years. But this is not about my love, this is about the book, so keep asking questions.
They still want to know who your love is.
Actually, if my name were Maria Felix, you would know. His name is Jorge Negrete. Okay. Any other comments or questions as I continue? Because I will look, I was going to talk about Victor, and I have him marked here. That's what happens when you don't sleep. I didn't sleep. Okay. So do you want to help me looking at the index? I can look, I can read from there, but it's hard for me to look at the index. Okay. So again, the educational institutions were targeted by the community to hold them accountable for providing the education that they needed to have, for hiring people that looked like them, because there were no Chicano, Chicana. Maybe I had a Hispanic in my 6th grade education at Wilson in middle school, and no, it was at Fremont Elementary, but he was from Spain, so he had no interest. Okay, but anyway, so we better close it up to questions, okay? Because I've been informed I almost overstayed. Yes, Yeah, somebody's boycotting me or protesting. No, what's really interesting about being here and wanting to speak to you about the most brilliant, amazing, collective group of community activist leader that anybody have ever met. I can't do their stories justice. You have to read it, you have to propagate it, because if they still think that LA is the city where the first walkout in favor of Mexican American studies and the treatment of students and all of the other rationale that they provided, the hiring of staff, the hiring of counselors, okay? Everybody's gonna think that LA is the Mecca of the Southwest, and that's not the way it is. Like San Antonio is not the Mecca of the Southwest, although people make it. San Jose was the place that started the first Cinco de Mayo fiesta. Immediately after the defeat, okay, of the French. If you don't believe me, I send you to the scholar that can show you that information if you're interested, okay? No questions, no other questions? Yes, sir, yes, ma'am, and, okay.
No, one, thank you for all
Tu
of it.
nombre, your name?
Blake.
Okay,
Yes. No, I work with student leaders here on campus, and I really want to read through this book to be able to inspire, because you have the next generation of people who's coming.
absolutely.
In a short little bit, like what would be a good way to get them started on this path, to learn about the people who came before them? What would be something you'd like, have?
I would use the book, and I would assign it by generation and topic, so they can deeply understand it, know it, and internalize the way that one evolves or becomes an activist leader. And then have them do a conocimiento, and that means a historical summary of their own families, so they can find the points of connection and the activism of their parents, because it's going to be there. Okay, there were horrible enough things that it's going to be there. Yes, Ms. Rolf Esparza.
It's more of a comment, but recently one of my friends, same age as I am, said that our memories are now, like what helps is you pretend you have a file cabinet in your head, and you pull out these different drawers that have things in it. So this book will probably help me, for different people, like Josie,
Yeah.
we went to a hot market, someone brought a quart of beer by mistake. Appreciate it.
Thank you. The other thing that it would do is that people would have a question of why didn't you include them? What I'm pointing out is what is. If you find holes, damn it, fill it by doing the research. Go find out. Talk to people. Yes, sir.
Is this book being used as a textbook anymore?
You know what? It's really sad. They think because it's a book about Mexican Americans written by a Mexican that it doesn't have a contribution to make. Okay? So, and then there is the competition in academia, who's going to sell whose books and who's going to buy whose books, and let me tell you, it's an interesting world out there. So, I think some people are using my books, but what they're using mostly is my press books. My sister is my book person today. They're over there in the corner, no?
Right here.
Oh, okay. Yes,
I just want to make a comment for this is a wonderful presentation, and we're very honored that you're here today, especially to bring back alumni to our campus and have this book, right? Have this book.
this
Through
is
demonstration.
this
of
is
our
her
history.
sister, stand up, and I recognize them by the hair color. Tejano all the way.
It's her sister-in-law.
Oh, her sister, well, she's still Tejano all the way.
But, yeah, thank you so much. We're
Nala,
honored to
did
have
you
you
ask
here.
her a question? Anybody? Yes, Ramon.
I just wanted to mention people looking for sources. I'm from La Raza Historical Society, but if you look up our website, larazahs.org, there are videos, there's at least 5 videos of Professor Negrete, but there's videos of most of the people up there that we've interviewed.
Okay,
So
you're
that-
not gonna kick us out, sorry, there's questions. Okay, good. Next, and next. Thank you. Yes, Olga.
So I want to thank you for coming and being here and sharing your story. I hope we can invite her back so that we can share your journey, your educational journey with our
Yes.
students, because I think it would be really valuable for our students to hear someone who started their educational journey here and
who became a professor emerita.
Yes.
Not everybody.
so I will be in contact so that we can, Alma's group can host you on campus.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You know what, I wanted to ask you,
Your nombre.
Fabio Gonzalez, and I'm from the EOPS and CARE program, San Jose City College. It's just like, I know, I heard your story. And I really wanted to thank you as well as my colleagues for being here. Welcome a su casa. But I was really interested in finding out, as you were interviewing folks, a lot of these folks are my mentors. As you were interviewing them, and I read some of their stories, the trait of poverty becomes kind of the fire in the belly, and then Dr. George Castro talks about the fight for the causa, which we know what that means.
Right.
But what did you saw as a common trait when you were interviewing them?
What did I see as the consciousness? The consciousness, and then they learn positive and negative interventions in the context of the family as well as the community. I think that weaves through with all of them.